welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Dr. T, aka Bookworm MD, and this is my YouTube channel. So today is my last day of my night float shift, and it's also Cinco de Mayo. So I am planning to do a little celebration with my night float peeps to celebrate Cinco de Mayo and make our last night of night float a little bit fun. So we're going to try to have some Mexican food, we're making mocktail margs, and we're taking care of sick patients. So I'm about to head to the hospital. Come with me and let's get into the video. Yeah, I don't know how they chose those antibiotics. Refers to inflammation of the colonic mucosa extending proximally from 15 centimeters above the anus. Hey guys, so a lot of things are going on right now, but basically on my last night shift, my team is the first ones to go get admissions. We kind of do it in like a round robin sort of thing, so the attending overnight kind of just like randomly picks the order and we keep giving admissions in that order. So we got our first admission, which is a patient who's coming in with like a month of runny diarrhea. At first they thought it was like viral gastroenteritis that usually would resolve on its own, but it didn't. So then they went to a telehealth visit, and the telehealth doctor prescribed them PO vancomycin, which is the treatment for C. diff, when the patient doesn't have any risk factors for C. diff, so I don't really get that, but okay. The patient took it, didn't help, obviously, because they don't have C. diff. She came into the hospital because the symptoms are not going away, and we're testing her for other viral causes of diarrhea. But I think more likely she probably has like an IBS type thing that's like a flare-up right now, because she does have a history of other GI issues. Anyways, we're treating her with some antibiotics because her CT scan shows inflammation in her colon called panproctocolitis, and we're giving her fluids because she's had like, you know, tons and tons of watery diarrhea and even some episodes of vomiting, so she's lost a lot of fluids. Anyways, that's our first admission of the night. In addition, today is Cinco de Mayo, so we are doing a little Cinco de Mayo party. I think I mentioned this before, but I brought in stuff to make mocktail margs, and we're getting tacos, so that is super exciting. And I'm just like, I've been waiting for this all week because I love themed nights. That's why whenever there's a reason to celebrate, I want to take advantage of that. But it's a little bit of a shame because I'm not feeling my best today. I don't know, I think it's just the exhaustion of working 2 weeks of nights. But yeah, I'm definitely feeling a little under the weather. Either way, let's get through this night so I can get some rest. Let's just get through this night and it'll be fine. Okay, so it's about 10 p.m. I've been called down to go see a patient because the patient is kind of like freaking out right now, feeling a lot of anxiety, and also reporting hallucinations. So I'm gonna go talk to the patient, see how they're doing, and see what's up with the hallucinations. Hopefully it's not like an encephalitis or something that, you know, I might get some imaging because the patient is sick with an infection. But first, let's see if I can just manage this through talking to the patient face to face, or maybe prescribing some medication. Wish me luck. But yeah, and the other thing that's difficult is that even though we got the tacos and I'm super excited about it, oh my god, I am always anxious that something's gonna happen, that an emergency is gonna happen, or I'm gonna get called to do something, and so I eat so fast. Oh my god, I fucking scarfed down my food because I'm like always afraid something's gonna happen. So of course, right as I was in the middle of eating, that's when I got called down to see that patient. They're not looking too good, very much in distress. So I'm gonna what's it called? I'm going to see what I can order and maybe even get a CT of his head and take it from there. Y'all, why is this night going by so slowly? So it's like not even midnight yet, and I got an admission for like a patient who's had multiple sclerosis, and she was like having like a flare of her MS and having like decreased sensation in her legs, so like numbness, I guess. And so they wanted to admit her for an MRI, but our MRI machine is closed overnight. So when I got down to go like talk to the patient, she was like, yeah, I want to sign out AMA because I don't want to wait here all night to get an MRI when I could go somewhere else or come back in the morning and get it. And I'm like, I completely agree. You know, it's just a thing. Like, I get that we get excited about admitting patients so we can do workup on them and help them, but at the same time, like, let's be realistic here and make sure that the patient is actually willing to stay in the hospital before you involve a whole nother service to like go and try to go and admit the patient and do all this paperwork, because really that's the main thing, paperwork. And then it turns out the patient doesn't even want to stay. Like, hours of time spent and effort put in for nothing, because then the patient leaves. Thankfully, we were able to say, like, the patient doesn't want to be admitted, so can the emergency room please discharge the patient instead of the medicine team, and the emergency room was willing to do that. So that's great. That's usually how it works. If there's like a misunderstanding and like the ED in good conscience tried to admit the patient, but then the patient turns out they don't want to stay, as long as the medicine team doesn't put in orders, the ED team usually discharges the patient. So because that admission was not a real admission because the patient left, we got another one. And the new admission is a patient who's coming in for concern of a TIA versus stroke, but we don't think that she's having a stroke. She basically was at home and like her speech suddenly changed and she felt that her tongue was like heavy, but there was no facial drooping or no like isolated focal deficits of her body, and the CT head was negative. So we're admitting her for an MRI to make sure that there's no stroke, but most likely this may have been a TIA or something else. The interesting thing is she has myasthenia gravis, which I haven't really seen before, but yeah, so it could just be worsening of the myasthenia gravis. Anyways, so that is our second admission of the night, and it's not even midnight. The night is going by kind of slow, I gotta say. Okay. So I just got the weirdest case. Like, it was presented to me that the patient came in, brought in by his daughter because she felt that he was acting differently than usual. That he was, you know, being slower and just like not mentally like fully there. I guess like he had altered mental status essentially after a long flight, more than 10-hour flight. And so he gets admitted he gets presented to the hospital because they think maybe he's having a stroke. They do a CT scan of his head, no signs of stroke. All his labs look really normal, except he's got like an elevated lipase, which is a pancreatic enzyme. You often see that in pancreatitis. Thing is, doesn't have any abdominal pain, which is often seen in pancreatitis. We get told, okay, he's admitted for failure to thrive. A lot of times older people, they come in, they start like declining in functional status, and that's a sign that they're failing to thrive in like daily life. We go down to see him thinking it's going to be like nothing because he was not reporting any symptoms. Well, it's actually a lot. Like, he's, according to his daughter, and this is a major change in his mental status in the last 5 months. Additionally, he lost like 60 pounds in the last 5 months, which is a significant amount of weight. Oftentimes when you hear of someone losing that much weight without trying to, you get concerned for cancer. So now I'm like, elevated lipase, no abdominal pain, loss of 60 pounds, pancreatic cancer. Also, he's like not able to urinate, so it's got like, you know, probably an enlarged prostate, prostate cancer, lung cancer. He's trying to walk, he's got a cane, trying to walk, but he falls over after like 2 steps or 3 steps, loss of balance, dizziness as soon as he stands up. So I'm like, is it a stroke? Even though the CT was negative, we're gonna get an MRI of his brain to make sure there's no stroke. Just took a 10-hour flight. He's short of breath after walking a few steps. Could be a PE. He could have a blood clot in his lungs because after, staying on a flight for 10 hours, you could develop a blood clot in your leg and then poof, goes to your lungs. Also, his heart rate's a little bit high. Another sign that maybe it could be a PE. He said that he's been sleeping like basically from 10 p.m. all the way till dinner time for the last few weeks. Could be depression contributing, could be electrolyte imbalances, could be vitamin deficiencies. He may not have been feeding himself very well. He said he's had a very poor appetite recently. And then additionally, because of the recent travel, who knows what type of infections he could possibly have. So we're working him up for various different types of infections, working him up for toxicities, working him up for autoimmune causes because he's like, oh yeah, my mouth is super dry, his tongue is like crazy dry. We're getting him fluids for sure, getting some imaging, checking on his cardiac function. It's a very complex case. And I'm worried about my patient. So anyways, we're putting all those orders already. Talked to the family, got consent for everything. Now my intern's writing the note, formulating our thoughts together, but right now I'm wondering, is it a cancer that potentially causes stroke, that potentially causes altered mental status, and then on top of it, could he have a PE? He totally could have a PE. Could he have heart failure? He totally could have heart failure. He's got some leg swelling. Could be just related to the flight. Could be not. Could be related to heart failure or DVT. Does he have paroxysmal AFib that causes stroke to the cerebellum, which causes loss of balance and central vertigo? He could have multiple different things. It's definitely going to be a case that I'll be following after this. So that's my most recent admission, and it is currently 4:52 a.m. Stay tuned. We still have some more hours in the shift. So here's some tea. It's 6:02. We just got called for an RRT in the emergency room, and that was around 5-something, 5:30, 5:40-ish, for a patient who was hypoxic. But one of our poor interns stuck herself with the needle when we were drawing the blood, when she was drawing the blood from the patient. So in about 5 seconds time span, she went from being the doctor to a patient in the emergency room. But the good thing is that she was wearing gloves. She washed her hands out really quickly after the stick. And so for now, we can await blood results to make sure that there's no communicable viruses.
The world's greatest authority in modern dancing. Perfect.
He just came back from Ghana, could have malaria, could have a parasite, could have a bunch of different infections. Yeah. So we're basically pan scanning him, CTA chest for PE, CT chest with contrast, CT abdomen pelvis with contrast, and then we sent a shit ton of labs for every possible etiology, infectious, toxin, all these different exposures. We sent sed rates, we sent some autoimmune stuff. So I guess just follow all that stuff up. HIV, everything. Because we don't really know. He didn't have any focal complaints, but he's definitely sick.
Okay. Is anyone really sick?
But he's not hemodynamically unstable.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day. Bye. So I officially just got home from my last night shift of the block, my last night shift block of PGY2 year. So that's good. Oh my God, after taking 2 trains and a bus to get here from the new hospital that I'm working at. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.